Thechosaurus Podcast.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Thechosaurus. I am your hostess for today, Michelle, and we have
Anna.
Molly.
and Melissa.
She's in a rush.
Dang, you are all bundled up.
Because I'm cold.
What episode is this? 81?
Yes.
81.
Yeah.
Episode 81.
81. So, today, my episode, we're just kind of going to talk about some social drama stuff. Controversy stuff that's been going on the past few days. Some of you may know what we're talking about. Some of you may not. But we are just going to discuss our feelings about it, what we see, what we think about it. So the controversy I'm talking about is on TikTok with, are we allowed to say their names and stuff?
You could bring it up, or you could just say these are what we.
Yeah.
This is
Like
the
the
rumors and
Yeah.
allegedly and all that stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
Allegedly.
I wasn't sure since they both kind of have a big
I think so
platform.
because
They talk about each other. Everybody talks about each other. And
Yeah.
we have a public platform. We technically do.
Yeah.
So
I think
Okay.
it's fine.
Well, yeah. So we are going to discuss, I guess, whatever that's going on between the influencer Drew Afualo
I think that's how you're saying
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
and the Asian podcast, Under the Influence, because apparently they Under the Influence has come under fire, because they were talking smack about Drew.
Yeah.
And
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
And also, people have been coming out about different red flags that they've seen or heard, allegedly, from that podcast. And everybody is starting to cancel their podcast. And I just want to talk about it, see what you guys know about it, what we think. So,
Yeah.
we'll just start discussing, because I know us girls are hot about it.
It makes me mad personally. I'm just gonna jump in.
Yeah, go ahead.
It makes me mad personally because it does raise a lot of questions, because they're like, see, these Asian people don't need to have podcasts. Like, it's kind of like, yeah, people don't have really good intentions when they go and try to create a public platform, and when they spread misinformation, or if they're basically spreading misogyny, like, it's not good. And so it kind of makes me mad, because for our podcast, we don't have room for that. And we don't do that, and we try to promote some kind of equity. And so when people do that kind of stuff, it kind of makes me a little bit like mad and hot, because it's like we don't do the same thing. But I feel like if we don't say anything, I don't know.
No, you're right. Because I came across a TikToker, and he's also Asian, and he made some good points. It's like, because like nowadays we have a lot of good Asian influencers, lots of representation, with actors.
It's the whole
and-
Asian wave right now. Like,
Yes.
Asian is popular now.
Yes, because you got
trending.
you have K-pop, boba, whatever. Everything's becoming mainstream. We're more noticed for our our
People
talent.
want to
and
be
stuff.
us.
Yes,
You know?
it's like a big time for us Asian Americans, and yet here we have an Asian podcast who is basically reaffirming what white Americans think of us, and are basically telling them that it's okay that you can't pronounce our name because we can't either, or we do it on purpose because we're making fun of that person. And it's
Or they're not important enough for us to understand that pronouncing their last name is significant.
yeah,
Yeah.
because it's like it's 2024, and you guys are still stuck in this like misogynistic mindset that you guys yourselves grew up in those Asian households. And instead of trying to change that or break that generational curse, you're kind of just staying in that lane and just still spreading it, even though
You
guys
yourself has
Yeah.
experienced it.
Yes. You know, so it's like it doesn't make sense to
Yeah.
me. You know, and I personally have never listened to them. I've only seen like their TikTok clips and videos, and even then, I don't listen to the whole clip. But from what I see, there's 3 guys and 1 girl on that.
I believe so.
I
think the main, yes.
I kind of get them mixed up with another one, which I don't remember the name of the other one, but they actually made a public statement because I guess they had a lot of crossover, and they said, oh, you know, we did have an episode with them, but we decided to delete them, and we are no longer affiliated with them, and we do not, our beliefs do not align with theirs. I don't remember the other one, but then they have a little bit more of a diverse cast. Yeah, this other one, because a lot of people were like, "Oh, I thought you were gonna like ride for Under the Influence,"
Yeah.
you know.
I don't know what a podcast that
I don't
is.
remember what they're called, but they're also like they look like they're about the same age or something. But then
I think I know what you're talking about. But I don't
Yes,
remember what
and
they're
there's
called.
more-
They
it's-
look very similar to them too.
they do, and then they're more equal. Like it almost seems like there's 2 girls, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I know what you're talking
2
about.
girls, and then like 3. It's mostly guys, but then there are more than 1 girl.
There was like multiple. There's a lot of.
and it's more diverse.
Yeah, they had a lot of hosts, or a lot of people on that episode. Like when I see clips on TikTok,
Mm-hmm. They do.
there's a lot of people talking at the same time.
Yes. But anyway, back to what Michelle was saying. For me personally, I'm mad, but also at the same time, I feel like, things can be. What is that? Where they say like 2 things can be true, or like where one, what they said was really bad, but then also they're just probably really, really ignorant about it, and they've been living in this, bubble, and maybe they don't get educated enough, on it, and it's kind of like, bro, do you not have anybody in your life that you can reflect on that and maybe be like, oh, maybe that's something that we shouldn't talk about, or someone didn't come to them and talk to them? Because we can complain and talk about them all this time, but at the same time, it's like, okay, why are you like this? Do you not have anybody that, is Pacific Islander or, knows? But I think what you were saying is one of them is, right? I think a Pacific Islander. Whoever's the owner of Nectar or something, I heard.
All I know is
Yes.
I think he was the bartender. I think he mentioned something about Nectar, that it's like an Asian hard seltzer brand with Asian fruits. I think like dragon fruit and stuff.
I don't know, but I never heard of Nectar until another TikToker was talking about it. And she's like, I'm so glad I'm going to get hate for this, and I can say now, but Nectar sucks.
Yeah, because
She's like, yeah, I don't know why everybody thinks it's so good, but it's not, because it's just gross.
Is that the same one that Ryan Higa came out with? I think Ryan Higa came out with his own. Or is it
no,
his
I think
own?
Ryan Higa. I think his is his actual energy drink.
Oh,
His is
okay,
an
okay.
energy drink.
Okay, never mind. So it's not the same one. I'm guessing. No.
No, it's his. His involves the ninja,
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
something ninja.
Okay, okay.
Because knowing him, it's something with a ninja.
Something with a ninja.
It's
wow.
it's something with, I don't know what it's called, but it's let me see.
Like ninja milk or
Yeah, it's something with ninja.
yeah, like ninja milk or something. I forgot what it was.
I don't think that the owner of the Nectar company is of Pacific
I don't know
Islander.
if it's him, but,
but-
he helped advertise it or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, they're sponsored basically.
Yeah.
They're sponsored by
He's
them?
pushing.
Yeah,
it,
it's
yes.
called Ninja Milk. Is what Ryan Higa's
Yeah.
energy drink is.
Yeah. Whatever it is, that person is pushing that product. Yeah.
All
okay.
I know is, I'll say that is, I just, it's just not.
So who's dating who? Or who's she dating? Which one?
She is dating this guy.
Oh,
that guy's
okay.
the owner of the company.
Yes,
Of
she's
Nectar?
dating him.
Yes,
She always
it's a picture of him.
she always talks about him, them private life, from the TikToks I've seen. And then these two are like best friends.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Like, I remember seeing a short TikTok clip of, like, I guess his name on there is Viet or whatever.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and he was talking about, like, his traumas and stuff like that too.
Yeah, I remember seeing those.
I don't know. Like I said, at the end of the day, we can complain, but it's kind of just like, this is why you guys need to really work on yourselves. Like, our Asian men, man, they're just as messed up as the other men. That's my opinion. Okay?
Yeah, and that's a lot of people's opinions. Because like I said, it's 2024. How are you going to sit here and drag the rest of y'all down back into, like, the old days?
I don't think that they intentionally, like, meant to, like, drag it down. But it's more of, like, they weren't mindful that, or they didn't, they're not around people that would give them that perspective. Because that's a very closed mindset to think that if a woman stands up, and in this situation it's Drew, if they stand up for people and for what's right, that, you know, they're automatically a bitch, they're automatically a man hater.
Okay, so wait, for people who don't know, like, what's the story between this podcast and Drew? Can you guys explain that?
Wasn't
like
it
what you guys? Because I don't. Again,
I
I
don't
only
know the
saw
full
like
story.
1 or 2 people talk about it on TikTok.
Yeah.
But then when I tried to be my detective self and tried to like
Look at this
research stuff, things were like deleted. And so I'm like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what they're talking about.
Okay, from what I understand and what I saw, but I'm like you too, a lot of things were deleted already. But from what I've been hearing through other people talk, is basically they were ragging on Drew because here's Drew, this big influencer who is women empowered and stuff like that, right? And,
Yes.
And so she recently got engaged. And so a lot of like the men who she rags on, they're all like, oh, look at her. She talks about women empowering and always talks down on men. Always teaching.
Here's the actual clip.
Oh,
If you want to see, but we can't play it here.
yeah.
But he's basically calling out and saying it's a double standard. That since Drew is hating on men, which if you follow her content, she doesn't.
She doesn't
hate on men. That she's getting married
to a man.
to a man.
And so they're just kind of like,
That's stupid, basically.
Yeah.
To sum it up in very, very small words, which you should look up the video yourself. You can kind of find it if you search it up on TikTok.
So you're trying to say that she's
She's a hypocrite.
a hypocrite?
Yes.
Oh, because she's marrying a man.
Yes.
yes.
Even
And
though she's a quote unquote a man hater.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because I
So
do
they're-
know
th-
she brings up, even Drew, she even brings up this other people telling her that the same thing too.
Yeah, it's kind of like you're like, oh, you're a hypocrite because you a man hater or whatever, but yet here you are marrying a man. Da, da, da. So really, in real life, you do need a man.
Because they're reacting how it started is under the influence was reacting to a video of a man complaining about Drew, and then that guy on one of the hosts on Under the Influence agreed and said that Drew's basically a hypocrite because she's spouting all this toxic man hate, but then she's getting married to a man. Basically, to sum it up.
Oh.
And then in the process of talking about Drew, which is he ended up mispronouncing her last name too. And a part of the whole Asian diaspora, we all, you know, they're a part of us, you know, like they're considered part of the Asian population because it's like messed up because anybody who's Asian, majority of us, we all have a history where, and it always stems from school where people mispronounce our last names.
Yes.
So like it's a lot of layers, but that's where it started from.
Oh.
So to kind of give you the full picture.
Yes.
Okay.
So since they attacked Drew, they have opened up this huge, what would you call
Like
it?
a can of worms. They
Yeah,
opened up a can of worms because it was like not. It was came out of left field because Drew never mentioned them. Drew doesn't even know them.
Hell, lots of people didn't know who they were until this
Yeah.
happened. You know, it's like why are you gonna be dumb enough to attack an influencer as big as Drew, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, they opened up this big can of worms, and a lot of people are coming out saying how a big red flag that they are because of the content that they make and talk about and stuff like that. So and like the whole misogyny thing, yeah, a lot of people are saying that that some of their content are very misogynistic. Even though like they're for Asians, they still kind of put Asians down in their own way as well.
Oh yeah, I remember that video clip.
Yeah, so
they talked about that, and I'm like,
do you remember what they said in that video specifically?
I don't
which is
remember
a separate video from what we're
it's a
talking
separate
about.
video, and it had something to do with they were ragging on other Asians who didn't come from, I guess, SoCal or whatever.
From California.
Yeah,
period.
wherever those.
It's a specific area in California.
Yeah, where all you Asians come from. The ones where they think ABGs are like the cute Korean girls. No, ABGs are gangsta Southeast Asian girls who will beat your ass.
Like the Vietnamese,
yes,
and
Cambodian people. Yeah, they're gonna
yeah.
beat your ass. That's what ABGs are. Okay, but your little thing over there took the name of, you guys colonized ABG. You guys made it into like this cutesy blonde, all pretty tattooed up boba drinking e-girl thing, and it's no, that's not what that is.
E-girl.
If you're in a dark alley with a real ABG, you would not survive.
Yeah, like that's where the original 90s ABG comes from, 80s ABG comes from, you know. And so they were just ragging on people who were not like them, Asians who are not like them. So like they were ragging on, like, I think a lot of it was like what's it called?
The Midwest?
The Midwest Asians, like us Asians who were born here in Oklahoma, born in Minnesota, born somewhere, and we don't have a lot of Asian influence. So I think one person was explaining how like one of them moved over, or the TikToker who was explaining this, she felt that rag when she moved over to California, and they were like, oh, how do you not know this? How do you not know this? You're Asian. How do you not know this? Kind of thing. And then she's just kind of like, well, I'm born in the Midwest. We don't have Asian influence stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
you know, just because
that look like us.
Yeah, or like just because my Asian is different from your Asian
does not make me less Asian.
Doesn't make me less Asian.
Yeah.
You know, and I think the podcast people were like ragging on that. Like, how are you not Asian? Like, how are you Asian but still
like you don't know this, you don't know that.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. That's what I remember the contents of that video.
You know, it's sad because like a lot of Asians are like that. Like talking about how some people are not Asian enough because of this or because of that. And it's kind of like, who are you to comment on how Asian I am?
There's even a lot of like internalized racism, colorism within the Asian diaspora anyway, because like there's I sad to say it, but you know, there's still some people that believe, like some East Asian believes that they are more civilized, more like the standard is that they're more beautiful, more smart than the Southeast Asians, you know, and then that includes us, you know, because we're part of the C's, the SEA, Southeast Asians. You know, we're part of them too.
Yeah. And
it's kind of like, yo, you guys, we're all the same. Like at the end of the day, a white man is gonna look at us and say we're the same.
Exactly.
So, but anyway, yes. So it's very sad to see that we all put each other down, because at the end of the day, that's really what it is that they want us to. Society is built, like especially here in America, is for us to all like pit ourselves against each other and the other people of color, or I think they like to call it like the politically correct term now is like the global majority, because there's more of us, you know, and yeah. So whenever you brought up that whole thing and they were, you know, mispronouncing Drew's last name and then how they feel about her perspective, it was kind of like, wow, you guys still have a lot to learn. You guys haven't, as the astrology girlies say, you haven't had your Saturn return yet, which means you haven't hit your 30s yet. You haven't matured enough. I don't know how old they are.
they look pretty young. I want to say maybe Molly's age.
They look like around my age.
Really? Yeah, they haven't hit their Saturn return yet. So
yeah, they look pretty young.
Yeah, which is really, really sad. And like how Liz was talking about with the only girl who's on the podcast. Again, I've never watched the episodes, but from what I see, yes, she's she's outnumbered on the podcast.
Yeah.
And two, she doesn't seem to like stick up for her gender very often.
I remember seeing like a few videos where she's like arguing with them,
But they don't really
but
listen to her.
they don't listen to her.
They kind of just like.
And so you can see that she shuts down. Like she gets
Triggered.
put in her place, and she just
stays
sits there.
Oh, so she's probably triggered then.
Yeah. And
She's
so I'm just
stonewalling
kind
it.
of like, why are you hanging out with these people then? If
Yeah.
you're watching back, and like whoever's editing their shit, like if they're watching back and being like, damn, that was kind of mean. Like I didn't let her talk.
Yeah.
Or, you know, or if she's editing, be like, wow, they did not let me talk.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but again, I hate to say this, but only self-aware people can
See
see
that.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
But
Oh wow. Well, this fan based website is saying that the Viet guy is 25. I don't know how accurate this is. And then
He's
Esther
pretty.
and Jeremy are 30.
Yeah, they know that
30
the
and
bartender,
34.
he's pretty old. Not pretty old, but he's like, yeah,
He's definitely in his 30s.
yeah, in his 30s. It's like he knows some things.
I don't know. But y'all say that two of them are dating. The girl is dating one of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she is.
And it's kind of like, again, like you said, only self-aware people will see it. But
Yeah.
it's like, how can you stand sitting there and be treated that way?
Well, coming from someone who has a lot of history of abuse and all that stuff, I would say that maybe she understands, like from her point of view, maybe she understands that this is not ideal, but that's probably normal for her. We don't know.
yeah,
but you
that's-
can see her shut down.
Yeah, like to me, it looks like this is normal for her, and I'm gonna shut down, and I'm gonna make myself smaller because you guys are not listening to what I have to say, even though you're talking about my gender, and I'm trying to educate you, but yet you are pushing me down. So therefore, I'm just gonna sit there.
That's kind of scary.
Yeah,
And that goes back to, you know, what I was saying earlier, that there's nobody that is checking them, the guys. Like
Yeah.
whoever's in their friend group, because it's not her responsibility, but whoever is in her friend group or his friend group or those guys' friends group, they're not checking each other.
yeah, and I think there was another video that I saw too. It's kind of like that, but I think they had like more girls on the podcast, and like majority of the girls like agreed with the dudes, and I'm like, but yeah, so a lot of the women like agreed with some of the men, and of course what the men were kind of saying was kind of misogynistic, and I was just kind of like, yeah, wow. I don't know if you guys are doing it because you guys agree to it, or if it's because you're just trying to come off as cool, like you're cool with it. You know what I'm saying?
It's like what you said in Drew's audiobook. Like you said,
This is not a promo for it, but I'm just a fan of hers. And her book is really good. She's very well spoken.
Yeah.
she is like listening to her on her clips and stuff like that. But yeah, like you said, how she said in her book why girls always feel the need to be cool in front of guys, like the pick me girls, I guess what you would say.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because like growing up, I did see a lot of that, where girls would downplay themselves or dumb themselves down so they can look, so they can be cool in guys' eyes for some reason. And it's kind of like, why?
It's because they have daddy issues.
Well, yeah, I know. I mean, I know that, but still, it's
It's
like,
that, but it's also the influence of society. Like
Yeah.
it's everything is really catered for men. Like it really is, you know. And like from a very very early age, we've all have been conditioned to think, oh, you know, the way to have a more comfortable life or the way to excel in life and whatever for everything to be better is to it's basically be behind a man, like in their footsteps or like catering
Yes.
to them.
Yeah.
in their shadows and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Or, you know, your goal aspirations in life should be to get married and have kids. Then you're a real woman.
Wow.
Because, yeah, of that.
Yeah. So I don't know. And like I said, just like being, you know, what is it? The devil's advocate, like, or what is that word? Is that a word? from their point of view.
Like the men's point
They're
of view?
just very, well, just in that example that you said, where there was like, even the girls agreed with that host.
Yeah.
First of all, they're very young.
Yeah.
Second of all, you guys gotta get out of your bubble. You gotta be uncomfortable and ask yourself those types of questions. Like, at least for us, I mean, I can personally say for our podcast, we do question a lot of the misogynistic views in our culture already, you know, but then we also understand that it's not 2D. There's so many layers to it. And so that's why I said, like, they are just live life a little bit more. Need to live life just a little bit more.
Yeah.
And meet people outside from different perspectives, because the only person that can really give you that insight is that person living, because that's their reality. Like, they need to, those male hosts need to really just be considering maybe they should, you know, look at the woman in their life. Like, they're your mom, bro. Your mom or your sister or your aunt or cousin or whatever. I know there's someone that has dealt with the worst of a man, and you have, you know about it.
Yeah, it also makes me wonder too. It's like, if you think about the future and let's say you have a daughter, it's like, would you want the men around her to speak to her the same way? Or do you want your daughter to live in that type of situation as well that you guys keep talking about or saying? Because there was another clip that I watched where they were talking about a situation like which one would you choose? It's like, would you rather have your significant other cheat on you after you have given them a kidney, or would you rather have your significant other leave you because you're infertile? Type of situation.
That is not equal. And first of all,
yeah, but just thinking of the idea of it's always the man that's leaving, okay, or cheating, and
well, thank you for proving the statistics right. Because side note that do you know that they have to, the medical professionals that go in that profession, they are trained, because so many men leave women when they have a terminal illness or a chronic illness. They're trained to tell the patient you should be expecting your man to leave.
I don't know if you girls knew that, but yes, they have.
No, I didn't know that.
They have training sessions to teach you how to break that news to a dying patient.
That's like the prime example is cancer. You are. It happens so much that they already know that it's in their program. It's in their curriculum to teach them that already.
Yeah. It's so sad, you know.
But the example of the daughter thing, that's always what, like, people try to give them that perspective, but they can't see that.
Right, because they don't have one.
Or like when it comes to that daughter thing, there's this other video that, this is kind of sidetracked it off that, but just, it was this girl who was arguing with this dude, and it was the whole pro-life, pro-choice shit. And she brought that up to him, and she brought that saying, like, you know, if your daughter, because I know you have a daughter, and he's like, yeah, I have a daughter, and she's like, yeah, so if your daughter got raped by somebody, you're gonna let her carry that baby with her? Are you gonna help her? What are you gonna do? And he goes, yeah, I'm gonna tell my daughter to keep it and have that baby. And wow. I'm like, that's a fucking lie.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it, you are not gonna want that baby.
Yeah, you're not gonna want that baby.
And guess what? She can't, because abortion. You guys took abortion away. So she's like, so that's what I'm saying, that like it's pro-choice and not pro-life kind of thing. And she was just like arguing with him, and he just of course he's just being fucking stupid and saying, you know, well, that's still life. And I'm like, but she's like, but that's your daughter, that's her life. So let's say if she ended up keeping the baby, but the baby dies inside her,
And they can't
take it out.
because of your laws.
Yeah, so you just gonna let her die? You know? And then he's just like, yeah, I guess, because there's nothing else to do. And I'm like, it's preventable.
That's
like,
the whole thing about like,
preventable.
and they have to literally like, it's got some type of like God's miracle where like he switches body with a woman. Only then they'll understand, because like they do not have any empathy, like no skills for emotional intelligence or anything.
Yeah.
And so empathy is not there. Like, you can explain and give those examples as much as you want, but until they're in the body of a woman, or at least what's considered so at least like I should say a body that can, you know, produce a baby, you know.
And I think it's not like, oh, live a day in my shoes. No, it's not a day. I need you to live like
The life.
multiple. Like if we ever switched bodies or whatever, because you know how like in movies and shit, it's just like a day they switch.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. That throughout that whole day, all you boys are gonna do is be touching titties and masturbating.
At least for the
with our
first couple
bodies.
days, yes.
Yeah. So it's like you need to like
You
live a little
yes.
longer.
You know the best thing that I don't remember what Bollywood movie this is, but it was an example of that. And they switched bodies, but it wasn't for a day. So obviously the first couple of days he was like feeling himself, because he's a playboy, and he got switched with a girl, and so he woke up as a girl. And so first couple days he's feeling himself. He's like, yeah, I'm hot, you know. And then after a while he ended up something happened. I'm not gonna really ruin it. And he ended up getting pregnant. So he went through labor. He like, I think it was to the point where he had like, I think went through labor or like had contractions while they're in labor, and then like I think ended up getting swapped back to his body. And it's like, that would be good if
actually happened,
if they
yeah.
experience that, or like at least experience the part where like you start from a girl, like before you are in puberty, to when you start like puberty and you get your period, and you notice the changes between in the men in your life and how they look at you. And I was like, ooh, that's a good period for them to test out too.
Yep.
Or like the part where, if not that part, then maybe like when they slowly start to like you know, get older and not be viewed as attractive, you know, like that transition where they are still like in their prime, I guess, and then like they go from someone that's like not, where society doesn't deem them as desirable.
Yeah.
And it's like, those are some really good ones, because like at the end of the day we're just used as tools for people, or for
The
men.
opposite sex.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, the whole two choices thing or whatever. One of the guys said that if I were with somebody and she found out she was infertile, I would leave her.
So this is like after they get married, and then you
Yes.
find out.
This is after they get married and they both have this the same dream, same idea of having kids together, meaning, you know, biologically hers and his, right? And then he said that if we were to find one day that she is infertile and can't carry or birth our kids, I would leave her.
That's funny, because coming from someone that does have infertility issues, the misconception is that it's the girl's fault. How do you know it's not the guy's fault too?
Exactly. A lot of men think
Broken
that.
sperm. Okay?
There is such thing as broken sperm, because if a lot of you don't know, sperm have tails, and that's what helps them swim. Kind of like a fish.
Propeller.
You know? Yeah. So if your tail ain't working, or it's curved in any way, you're going to be swimming in circles, not going anywhere near the egg.
Or like they're deformed, so they can't swim. So they literally are just floating. That as well.
Yeah. So yeah, half the time it is the men's fault, because they don't have very good swimmers. You know, and it just happens. It's not their fault. It's not something that they can control, or whatever. So, and I'm pretty sure men will say that too. And then it's kind of like, okay, why can't you put that mindset with the woman? You know, it's not their fault that their body can't carry a baby. It's not their fault that their eggs won't come out or whatever. You know, so it's just so men who think like that, it's just kind of like, till death do you part, in sickness and in health. Does that not mean anything to you guys?
No, because society really just tells them, hey, to be a real man, you got to go and have that perfect family. You got to have the kids. You got to have the job, the house.
Like, I remember talking to one of my guy friends, and he was saying how, like, he was, like, just wanting, like, a fling, right? Like, a fling. That's it. And I was like, well, then just tell the girl that you just want to fling. Simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure if she was mature enough, she'll just be like, okay.
Either okay or actually I'm not for a
that's
fling.
not what I want.
Yeah.
You know, like if you have a girl who's really, you know, worked on herself, she'll say that. You know, but then he was like, he said something to me that I was kind of like, what? Because he was like, well, I mean, I feel like most girls would be like, oh, you need to make about this much amount of money, and you need, I need this from you and that from you. And I'm like, it's just a fling. If she's asking you that question, then obviously she's not looking for a fling.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know what's with some guys that they can't just be direct. It's like,
yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure
You
majority
can.
of us girls, we would just want you to be direct with us. If you want to have sex, and just say you want to have sex. That's it. I'm here for sex.
Yeah, and just be like, if I don't like it, I'll be like, bye, peace. You know? But then again, devil's advocate. You know,
Yeah.
I'm sure men have had the experiences where it wasn't great.
Right.
Whenever they are straightforward like that too. So yes, some fault is on us women, who do overreact about stuff like that.
Yeah.
But majority of us,
Yeah.
yes, would want you to be direct. You know, because
it's not hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not hard. So if you hurt their feelings, you hurt their feelings. But at least you were truthful.
And so I don't know. I really don't know. This world is fucking crazy nowadays. I don't know. Like, that's why I'm like, you people just need to, like, love yourself. Honestly.
Well, I
work
mean,
on yourself, because
talk about men in general or those
like
people on
just
the podcast.
everybody in general.
Yes,
In order to like why would that even be a fucking question? Like, that's such a weird question to ask. Like, would you rather, what was it? Would you rather,
Yeah, which situation is worse or whatever? Where
Yeah.
your significant other cheats on you after you save their life with giving up a kidney? Or is it worse that your loved one will leave you after learning that you're infertile?
Both situations.
Both
are
situations is horrible.
horrible, and nobody wants to be in any of those. But sometimes people find themselves in those
Yeah.
situations.
But at the same time, I'm kind of like, but I feel like, I'm not married. I don't know how it works, you know, and I understand people change over the years.
Yes, of course.
You know, but at the same time, it's like, but that's why you like work on yourself, so that way you can like try to indicate the red flags before you get married to people. Yeah. You know,
That or like
people
if you're
just- they-
constantly working on yourself, it can be through the marriage too.
Yeah. Because, like, I feel like a lot of people now who get married, they just glorify it, or they are just like, oh, that's just the next step, so that's why I want to get married. And to me, I'm like, huh? If a man said that to me, I'm like, no, I'm out.
And that's the thing, going back on the original topic that Drew says, like, people are just flabbergasted that she has a certain standard
Yeah.
for the type of partner that she wants in her life. And that, yeah, they've been together for years, but she also did not give up on her standards, and she has certain things that she wants, and she still ended up getting the partner that she wanted, and people cannot seem to wrap their head around it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it can happen.
Yeah.
Yes, people, it can
It's
happen.
possible.
You know, again, from her mouth too, it's like the ring is not the end game.
No.
It is not. Okay, so for all those men who think that that's all that women want is the ring, no.
Not all women.
Not all.
There are some that are like that. You
Yes.
know, because that's what they like. That's their prerogative.
Yeah, but most women, that's not the end game. You know, and a lot of men see that too as that marriage is the finish line, when really it's not the finish line. That's like the starting line of something more. So it's like y'all need to change your views, perspectives to see that if you want a successful relationship / marriage.
Yeah. And then like Drew says, I'm going to quote her from her book too, again, which is, I'm not promoting, but it's just damn good. And she was like, I wish you men would see that, you know, you would think that misogyny just hurts women, but it hurts you too. It doesn't allow you to process emotions. It doesn't allow you to cry. You're only allowed to be mad.
Yep.
You know?
You're allowed to be mad.
Mad, or that's it. Or, you know, no sad, no in between. You know? And that is in turn hurting you too. And she said, like, I wish that you would just understand that that's it hurts everybody. And that's why you're the way you are.
Oh, this patriarchal society needs to die.
All at the end of the day, we just really need to, it all really does start in the beginning. Like, we have to really let our boys and in the beginning be allowed to feel, be allowed to process, cry, everything.
Process their emotions.
Yeah, and
even when they're big emotions.
Yeah, of course. And allow them to do that. But it's going to take a whole village, guys.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I'm raising boys. So it's a little, it's hard, yes, because especially growing up the way we grew up, it's really hard to, what's the word? Kind of go through these things and try to undo generational curses, because you don't know what you're doing, because all you know was that you want to undo those things, but of course you don't have anybody to teach you to do that. So basically what you're thinking is whatever happened to you, do the opposite.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So it's very hard to maneuver through all that. So with my boys, for one, I try not to raise my voice at them and stuff like that, punish them for small things or stuff like that. I try to let them feel their feelings and stuff and whatnot, because all my boys are really big feeling boys. They all have big feelings and they all express it in different ways. So it's definitely a learning curve for me. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious, Molly. You've been kind of quiet. What are your thoughts?
I don't know. Like I said, I'm not really into all this, at least that stuff. I'll see it, but I'll just skip over it. You know.
yeah.
I don't know. Like, y'all's people in y'all's ages. I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to imagine myself back around your guys' age. And like, I don't know. Like, I'm like, was I really that dumb?
It wasn't dumb. I think it's
Or like, was I
it wasn't
really not
important
that,
to you.
Yeah, like, was I really just? And I probably was. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know, because there's some people, like some podcasts that I listen to, and you can tell, like, who's the older one and who's the younger one based on like what they say. Because I'm like watching their interaction, and I'm like, I don't know if I like that you said that.
Yeah.
Because I think one of them that I like to watch is that library show with Derek Gerard.
Yes.
Yeah, and so there's one of them on there where he's I think he's like 29, so like almost 30, but like all the guests that I've seen on his show are usually like younger, like 25, 24. And so for me at least, I can tell like the two different dynamics. And I think one of them that like kind of stuck out to me was when he was like interviewing a girl, and she was saying that, or he was saying that he's been celibate for a year because he felt like he needs to be celibate because he just feels like he just gives into sex so fast and stuff like that, or something like that.
Is this the Asian girl with braces?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and so he was telling her that like he's been celibate for the past year, and all that stuff, and she just laughed at him.
Like she couldn't understand.
Yeah, she's like, why?
Yeah.
And he's all like, because I feel like, sex plays a big part in a relationship, and so I have a bad habit of like going on like 1 or 2 dates and then like just fucking them, kind of thing, or like I develop feelings after we fuck, but that's all that they wanted or something like that, So he's like, so I've been celibate for the year, and so she kind of laughed at him, and she was all like, so you're simping, or is it simping, or it's not simping, it's I forgot what she said, not simping, but she said something, and he's like, what does that mean? Oh no, she said he's coping.
It's a certain word. I don't remember.
I think it's
what
like
it was.
coping. She said like something with coping. And so he's like, what the fuck does that mean? And she's all like, she's like, what I'm saying is that you can't get sex, so you're just pretending like, oh, I'm gonna be celibate because I can't get sex.
Oh.
And then Derek's like, no, I can get sex, okay? But I'm
Look
choosing.
at him. He can.
Yeah, I was like, he's hella cute.
Yes.
Okay. And he's like, no, I'm choosing to be celibate. And so she's like, no, you're coping. You're coping. And he's like, no, I'm not. Which makes him more like, looks like he's coping.
I understand his frustration,
Yeah.
but it's kind of like, dude, that's what you get for having her on the show. She's young and she does that for a living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to it's understandable why she reacted that way, but
Yeah,
I think
because
Yeah.
I remember he even asked her, it's like, would you rather give up sex or coffee? And she's all like, ew, coffee. And he said that he would give up sex, and she was super shocked.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that it's just a whole, like I said, he's about to enter his Saturn return.
Yeah.
People's life change when they hit their 30s, and so she's
Yeah.
not there yet. So
Yeah, because you can see like how, I guess, wide his healing has begun.
how much he's done.
Yeah, and
Yes.
so when I'm watching him listen or talk to like these younger folk, I'm like, what? Like, I understand, Derek. I understand. And then
Yeah.
these other people are like, no, man, you're weird.
Yeah,
To him, like invalidating him, and I'm like,
it's like, how can
I
you
feel
live
so
without
sorry.
sex? You know?
Yeah, for you, Derek, because these people are invalidating your feelings,
Yeah.
Well,
episode after episode after episode.
I feel like he's done enough healing though to know he knows more about himself that he's not gonna let influence him. But
Yeah.
but still, I think it's just more of like they're just young, and when you're young and like you have an active sex life, you can't tell the difference between are you really doing this? Are you doing this because you're enjoying it, or are you trying to fill a hole? A void in yourself. And I think that for some people they understand later on like, oh, that's what I was doing. It wasn't for the actual sex. I was trying to fill an empty void inside of me. I don't know his personal journey, but it might be that. I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, answering I think it is a generational thing because things are a little different between my generation to you and Anna's, and then Molly's as well. So yeah, it's different generations because it's different timelines of what life was happening then.
Yeah.
So everybody has different views and thoughts or ways that they react to things. So, which is why we have this podcast. So, but yeah, that's just what I wanted to discuss today because it was on social media everywhere, and it kind of irked me inside with some of what they were saying, and I loved Drew, so it was kind of like, well, they attacking my girl.
Yeah, she's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's very relatable, and it makes sense. It's kind of like Lizzo's song, "Truth Hurts."
Yeah.
She says,
why men great till they gotta be great? That one?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Say it again, Anna.
Why men
are men great until they gotta be great?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
You know, and that just explains all of Drew's stuff. She's not man hating. She's just saying that some of you men need to grow the fuck up.
Personally, my message at the end of the day is, guys, like, we're all human, and stop trying to feed into the whole thing about us versus them, pitting each other against each other, because at the end of the day, we all bleed the same color.
Mm-hmm. We all cry whether you admit it or not.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
There's not.
There's nothing wrong. So.
Right, Molly?
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so that's my episode, just kind of ranting about that and kind of bringing it up to light to some of our listeners who I guess haven't been through that or has been through something like that. So it was just our views and our light on that situation. So hopefully you guys got something out of it, or just enjoyed.
Yeah, we love you, Drew.
Or just enjoys our rants and facial expressions and stuff like that. But either way, we appreciate you guys for listening. And if you guys have something to say or questions, comment down below. Otherwise, we will see you in the next episode.